Liverpool fan in Japan.
Hello YouTube, Liverpool fan in Japan, Miyazaki Mansai. Cannot believe I need to make this video already. There's been a transfer bid for Wataru Endo-sama. What fantastic news! Basically, there's clubs that really appreciate Endo-sama's talent. Which club? Marseille. Coached under Roberto De Zerbi, he saw Endo in full flight last season. He decided, for his tactical play, I need a destroyer, an anchor man who can pass the ball through the lines, a man of quality, dominant in the air, with a leap like a spring salmon, absolutely crunching them challenges, getting us on the front foot, and off we go. Well, too bad, Roberto. He's at Liverpool FC, and he's here to stay. Here's why. Well, mainly because his own newsletter kind of says so. He's been talking about how he is training under Arne Slot. Slot's giving him positional tactical instructions. He says that we'll have to wait and see what happens in the year, to wait and see what he has to do for his particular role and place in the team. But Arne Slot is giving him full confidence and a lot of tactical pointers as to what he expects of Endo this season. So exciting stuff. I might translate this video pretty soon, this article in the member section, of course. Cheaper than a cup of mediocre coffee. Thanks for all the support. So we know that many clubs in world football are looking for a dominant, totally class, world-class number 6. Obviously Rodri, the gold standard. Declan Rice, not a bad number 2 in command in the Premier League. But you look at Man United, for example. They want Human from Sporting, but more specifically, Ugarte at PSG. They're putting feelers out for him, but Ugarte isn't really starting a lot for PSG, and PSG can't wait to get rid of him because he's quite limited on the ball. He's not as good as Fabian Ruiz, who's much more of a baller, helped Spain to win the Euros. And apart from tackling, Ugarte doesn't have as much overall game and influence on the game. Now, Wataru Endo stood up to be counted in the biggest matches, absolutely dominated, cream-crackered Chelsea's gazillion pound midfield. Caicedo, Enzo, what? Conor Gallagher even actually put up more of a fight, but even then, Endo stood head and shoulders above the rest. And against Manchester City, shackled De Bruyne, also limited Foden, and pressed Rodri high up as well. So it's no wonder teams in Germany and Marseille are looking for such a quality 6. And they're thinking, with the transition in place, will he fit Arne Slot's system? This is a phrase I've heard throughout the day. Will he fit Arne Slot's tactical system? He didn't look up to speed and up to scratch in pre-season. Let's dispel all these rumours one by one. So clubs obviously want to strengthen with a number 6, and Wataru Endo has been identified for these guys as a very prominent number 6. Will Liverpool get a number 6, a starting number 6 in place for him? But there's a few issues even with that perspective. So Jurgen Klopp said Wataru Endo was always on his list for defensive midfield reinforcements. He wanted Endo's energy, his heart, his legs, his stamina, his skills, his gum shield to be a vital part of our Liverpool FC team of last season. And he came to prominence and really, during the course of the season, showed his worth, constantly being available, constantly winning the ball back, giving it to our front players, our more prominent players, and also breaking the lines with amazing passes. Also a cracking goal against Fulham, and more often than not, the assist before the assist as well, which is a massively underrated trait of his, is that he can pass the ball through the lines very effectively to find the advanced midfielders or the wingers. Now, I doubt he would have been on Klopp's list to be a stopgap, to be a one-season wonder, to be an emergency backup signing. He was on the list, and in the absence of Caicedo and Lavia, which we rightly didn't overpay for, and Caicedo chose Chelsea, Wataru Endo was next in line, and my goodness, he'd done all of us fans in Japan proud. In fact, the biggest contribution to the Liverpool FC community that Wataru Endo has offered is the creation of the Liverpool Fan in Japan channel, right? Hey, so anything now is just a bonus, right? So I'll keep your legacy alive. But all facts aside, do you remember Dietmar Hamann, right? Playing for Gerard Houllier, playing that midfield with Sheru, Gerrard, Biscan, Diao. Hamann never had any pace. Even in his prime, he was slow as molasses. However, defensive midfield positioning is more important than speed ever will be. Sure, athleticism is great, but if you don't identify the right holes to plug, the right places to offer yourself as an outlet, take the ball under pressure and progress the ball, keep the play simple and give it to a more prominent blitz, and become that intelligent shadow, stalking the opposition playmaker, not allowing them to thrive. Remember when Hamann came on? Kaká is one of the most fleet-footed, gifted, silkiest runners, gliders in world football history, and Hamann shackled his influence in the second half. He was pulling up strings and running the show, running amok in the first half. And Hamann can never catch Kaká for speed, but it's about positioning, quality, experience, and dominance. And one thing I want to clear up in pre-season, it doesn't fit Arne Slot systems or this, right? In a pre-season friendly, especially for Wataru Endo's traits, a cruncher, a tackler, someone who sets the tone and the mood for going all in. Even in my team that I coach, you don't go all in pre-season because not only do you not want to risk injury to yourself, you don't want to injure the opposition either, right? It's played in the spirit of the game, get your fitness levels, move the ball around, while you regain the sharpness, build up the tactical awareness, build that chemistry with your teammates as well. So I don't actually expect Wataru Endo to have the biggest influences because he's not going to go in all guns blazing, crunching the opposition. He's saving that for the Premier League where it really, really counts. And crunching the opposition gets the fans on their feet, gets the players' hearts racing. Your momentum goes kia, ikuzo, which is like the Japanese let's go, follow the man into the trenches. Roy Keane talks about the trenches. You want Wataru Endo into the trenches because there's always that expectation, that lump in your throat when he goes for the challenge that he'll get the ball, he'll win the ball, and he'll crunch someone, take them out in the same place at the same time. And that's exactly what you want. Now, chemistry with the team is very, very important. And what did Marseille offer? A paltry 11.8 million or something of that regard? Forget the finances involved. You're never, ever going to replace anyone with 11.8 million. Forget about profit, forget about loss for now, and forget about age. I will come to age in just a second. It's around the qualities and attributes you offer to the team on and off the pitch and what a player Wataru Endo is. He'll set the standards in training. He'll be there for his teammates from the bench. On the pitch, he'll support the teammates. He, as the intelligent shadow, allows Gravenberch, McAllister, Subside freedom, Harvey Elliott freedom to really express themselves in Rome, knowing that he is the man behind them, playing with the role to facilitate and allow them a platform to play the natural game without worrying about turning over the ball, because he, more than likely than not, will shield the ball away from the dangerous situations on the transition if they lose the ball. And it's no surprise that Gravenberch played his greatest games when Wataru Endo was behind him. And as well as that, he's a calm head, he's experienced in the face of adversity. In the burning cauldron of a stadium, you need your experienced heads, and he is Japan's national captain. And that's not to be frowned upon because Japan is a very technical, prominent team with high expectations on leadership, respect and morality. And Wataru Endo is a captain that leads by example. Similarly, he'll set the standards in training but also in the cup matches, as I explained when he signed. Wataru Endo in the EFL Cup alongside Virgil van Dijk, the experienced head, the captains of the national team, guided the youngsters throughout the game with game management. They'll tell you where to go, they'll gesture, they'll snarl, they'll raise the morale, they'll lead by example. You need a team full of captains. Dominic Szoboszlai, Wataru Endo, Virgil van Dijk, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Andy Robertson. You need a team of captains, and that's what we have. Additionally, you need your player to settle into the Premier League. Now, it's easier when you're a winger and you can be unpredictable, and unpredictability actually works in your favour, which is why Jurgen Klopp put on Ben Doak against Chelsea first game last season. But in the middle midfield, especially in the sixth position where you're going to get the ball a lot, where you need to show for the ball, offer yourself the ball, get the ball under pressure, be in the midst of the fighting and adversity and crunching tackles and congested areas and dirt balling, you need someone who knows the passages of play that your team goes through, where to lay off the ball, the right direction to go to, and on the turn in a moment's instinct, where Salah, where Lucho Diaz, where Gakpo, where Nunes needs the ball, where Szoboszlai, where McAllister, where Gravenberch, where Curtis Jones, where Bajcetic, where they need the ball, where Harvey Elliott needs to get the ball, where to place it for Virgil van Dijk as a trigger point to launch it over into the right hand channel into Salah's chest, where to launch it into Konate to take it in stride and leap forward into midfield, where to give it to Trent Alexander-Arnold to go into half space, to whip a ball in, to change the point of attack, where to give it to Robertson to rampage forward, where to give it to Tsimikas to whip the ball in. You need that chemistry, rapport with teammates, understanding of the role, single pivot, double pivot, different systems, and experience of the opposition to know which opposition is likely to press you high. Did they go on the left foot? Did they go on the right foot? Did they stand off? Low centre of gravity, try to compete in the air, that kind of thing. And Wataru Endo has a season of that under his belt, building chemistry with his teammates and experience of coming up against some of the best players in the world in the Premier League. You can't buy that experience. Fabinho took a while to settle in Jurgen Klopp's team. He didn't even start him straight away. And as Pep Linders rightly intimated, it took him a while to understand the role, the expectations of what he needed to do. And similarly for Wataru Endo, it took him a while to get to the speed of the Premier League. But once he is familiar with the tactics and trusted by Klopp played him week in, week out. And he was so important. In fact, he was missed more than Mo Salah in that January Asia Cup African Nations. And I'm sure that's the general consensus, right, amongst the fans. Now, I know that so many people are willing to trade in all of these intangible assets, the things you don't see, for a shiny new toy. Let's get Edison from Atalanta, right? Schulman from Sporting Lisbon, for example. Or Yusuf Fofana. My goodness, I do not think Yusuf Fofana is right for this role. He's still raw and slightly ungainly, and he lacks the maturity for a slot total football game. There's a reason why his price point is so cheap, and he hasn't been snapped up by the biggest clubs. You'd expect someone of that talent, that caliber in the sixth position at that price point to be snapped up straight away by Barcelona, even a Juventus, even a Napoli, someone showing interest, but it's not. It's a West Ham who are trying all out to get Yusuf Fofana. This reminds me so much of Andre Trindade last season for Fluminense. Whoa, playmaking extraordinaire, deep lying playmaker. He can do the Thiago role. He'll come in straight in and be our number 6. He'll drop behind Van Dijk and playmake through the lines. Brazilian international in the making. He is the new number 6. There's a reason why other clubs haven't gone for him either. In fact, Yusuf Fofana, probably his ceiling, I reckon, is around the AC Milan level at this time and moment. Probably why the scouting are going for him. And then there's a conversation that I'd rather give Wataru Endo's minutes to the youngsters. Bajcetic goes straight in. Tyler Morton, who's actually a hybrid between a 6 and 8, can play more prominent in the 8 as well. And I think it was intimated by Pep Linders he prefers the 8 position as well. But this is why Arne Slot, Jurgen Klopp, even Pep Linders are paid the big bucks to make the decisions. They don't give the youngsters minutes to raise their star potential in Football Manager, for example. They deploy the players with the right attributes to fulfill their function for the tactical approach to win the game. Whether it's Wataru Endo, Mr. Bean, Potato Head, Michelin Man, or whoever they deploy, they don't care about appearance fees. They don't care about reaching the potential. They don't care about giving the youngsters minutes. They care about winning that match because it's their reputation and their head on the line and the players' hopes and dreams of the future based on your decision. So you choose the players with the right attributes to fulfill the function you envisage, and I hope that they can deliver on the plan that you set out for them to the best of their abilities. And this is why you see cutthroat, ruthless managers who just want to win at all costs. They'll sub a player off at halftime. They'll sub a player off who's already been subbed on. They are paid the money to make decisions for the best interest of the team. So I'm not saying that there aren't better players than Wataru Endo out there, but for me, he's an integral asset to keep, especially in the lack. There's a dearth of quality number sixes in the market. And while Liverpool are looking to strengthen that position, why would you weaken yourself in that position? You're not going to gain a big financial uplift. You're going to gain experience, quality, and someone who can really add something to the season. A season piled up with many, many fixtures. And Endo would be on a comparatively lower wage compared to the rest of the squad as well. Come on, it's not as if he's a Christian Paulson or someone you can't wait to get rid of him, right? So limited. Wataru Endo has many, many strengths and he's viable as a first choice pick and a pick off the bench in many, many games. He'll never complain. He'll do his absolute best and he just wants Liverpool FC to win. True warrior, put respect on his name. So why some Liverpool fans are trying to push him out the door immediately, it's bonkers to me. I mean, he even won Liverpool's Player of the Month, right, last season in that epic spell. Name how many players in and around the squad places win Player of the Month, for Christ's sake. A beautiful thing about Liverpool and world football and the Premier League that I love, right? Liverpool is not Galacticos, Los Galacticos, an absolute worldwide franchise player in every position. Zidane, Figo, Ronaldo, Raul, right? Roberto Carlos, Zidane's y Pavones. What a transfer policy. It's not Man City or Chelsea who have used the money to have £1 million player in every position. It's hard working, it's guts, it's passion, it's emotion, it's character. We may not have the absolute best player in every position, but my God, they give 200% for the cause to win it in front of a packed crowd in Anfield or away in European nights. They give it their all. Absolute warriors. You've got your Ronaldums, you've got your Hendersons. Everyone has a role to play. Robertson can come up through the lower Premier League ranks and then become a certified Premier League legend, one of the best left backs of all time. That's the kind of player that build Liverpool. It's a squad that wins the Premier League and the trophies. And these so-called lesser players allow the star players to shine. There's only one Rodri in the world. There's only one Declan Rice in the world. There's only one Busquets. And not every player can have the best player in every single position. But sometimes you don't need that. Sometimes you just need a player to do the job to allow your best players to shine. And I mean, good players are always in demand. It'd be almost an insult if someone didn't try their luck for Wataru Endo, but Liverpool have already rejected it. And I mean, just look at his track record. He's visited all the pubs in Liverpool, Endo in the pub, right? And he's taught Konate the Kamehameha, boosted his power level over 9,000. So these preconceived notions that he was signed as a stopgap, we can replace him with someone more quality. It's the right time to let him go. We can plug in a number 6, a new signing straight away, and they can hit the ground running, hitting the balls over the top, destroy the opposition, play the ball through the lines, working Arne Slot's double pivot, being an enforcer on the pitch and a gentleman in the changing rooms, and all the good stuff. It's really funny considering we haven't even made a transfer and you want to get rid of one of the most well-respected members of the changing room who everyone seems to get on well with. And if anything, Endo is probably the player that releases his midfield double pivot partner to really go ahead and take the game by the scruff of the neck and show their qualities to win the game. It does just seem like preconceived notions that a cheap signing from the German league after being rejected by Caicedo and Lavia is suddenly too slow or washed up or the wrong side of 30 or get the money while you can. Just doesn't make a lot of logical sense. I don't think it's in Liverpool's interest either. And I find it so funny how some of the media narrative, some of the journalist narrative is FSG open to selling Wataru Endo. Arne Slot isn't convinced Wataru Endo fits in the system or from one pre-season game and some clips in training. The only facts are Liverpool rejected Wataru Endo's offer from Marseille out of the blue straight away. And that's the only news you heard. But I don't know, I'm telling you, if it happens, it happens. But I'm telling you, his newsletter, what he says in the video, and all logic dictates otherwise. So, hey, it's what it is. And look, I'm a Liverpool fan before Wataru Endo fan. And at the end of the day, I trust Richard Hughes, Michael Edwards, Arne Slot to make the most of Liverpool's squad and give it a proper go next season. And for all the fans that want to sell Wataru Endo, I think he's got words of his own to say. You really dare to consider selling Endo Wataru-sama? My wife, Fusukenya Baka. Boku wa cream of the crop da yo. The cream of the crop! He really is the cream of the crop. once in a generation Japanese legend Wataru Endo. This is a channel with substance and abundance. So smash the subscribe if you haven't already. Lots of quality content coming up. Smash a like, helps the video get seen. And the comments help boost the YouTube algorithm as well. So go on ahead. Let me know your thoughts on Wataru Endo and if you'd sell him or not for paltry, 12, 13 million. What can you really do with 12, 13 million? My goodness. So as always, got to show off a piece of new kit. Got way too many of these. Got to get through them right. Can't forget on a video. Let's see what... Ooh, wait a minute. Standard Chartered. So that isn't too old. Relatively modern. It's got a liver badge on it. It's Warrior. It's a Warrior one. I do love my Warrior kit. I'm really excited because Warrior for me was so unique in their understanding. Oh, okay. Never seen this one before. It's like a windbreaker, tracky jacket. It's ribbed at the bottom for my pleasure. It smells fresh as daisies. Now for a Warrior kit, vintage Warrior, I want to get every single piece of Warrior kit because their designs head and shoulders above some of the bog standard churned out one from the bigger manufacturers. Let's get this bad boy on. We are the Warrior. This might be one of my favourite lot of the recent. Oh, look at this. My goodness. I'd gladly wear this to the local £1 sushi. Love it. So thank you guys for watching the video. Big up to the new members Tim J and Christian. Stay safe, my man, on those travels. And until next time, Miyazaki man, Ichiban means the best. Jane, and see you later.